Hey, I'm Bridget, and this is Brain Juice with Noah Chrysler.
Bridget, what's up? Welcome to the show, Bridget. I'm stoked
Thanks
for
for
this
having
conversation.
me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I don't know. Are you ready for your intro here?
I'm so ready.
Here we go. Today on Brain Juice, we're talking with Bridget Dugan. Bridget works as an addiction treat at an blah 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 blah. Blah. Bridget works at an addiction treatment center, helping people in early recovery feel a little less alone. She's also a ghostwriter, a former flight attendant, and most importantly, my middle school ex-girlfriend. Over the years, we did a lot of improv together, and she was one of the first people to ever break my heart into a million little pieces. At
Mm.
one point, I told her in a moment that I don't even remember, but one that she's apparently carried with her for over a decade, your good qualities are meaningless if you're unreliable. In return, by the way, this was written by ChatGPT, and I thought this fucking line was so funny. In return, she told me nothing, and then she vanished. I was like, that's awesome. Cool. Today, we're going to finally confront Bridget about why she dumped me in the 7th grade, talk to her about recovery and addiction, ask her why men keep confessing their erectile dysfunction to her, and then dive into Pokemon Go, Avatar marathons, and whether she really uses her charisma to manipulate people.
R.I.P. Mr. Engel. I
Oh,
love
like
that
for
man.
real. Me too. That's really
Yeah.
sad.
To
I don't
be
know.
to be fair, you saying that and him saying that like haunted me all up the way until I got sober. Like that's like one of the things we'll talk about this all later, but yeah, carried
I
those
feel
with
terrible
me.
about that. I'm really
It
sorry.
needed to be said.
Still though, I don't know. I don't know if it needed to be said.
I think it's difficult for me to remember like the exact moment, but it was something involving when we were all improv club officers. So like we were all, running the improv club. And I had been late, forgotten to do something, like any one of my classic things in high school. And I do remember like you looked at me and it was something along the lines of like, Bridget, you have so many great qualities and they just don't matter if you're not reliable. And I was like, but I thought about it all the
That's
time
so
after that.
awful.
It was
That's such an
true.
I don't think that's true. I think that that's a very harsh thing for I mean, yeah, I think that let's get into that, right? I think
Yeah,
like okay, so that's the first like topic of this conversation I think is interesting. Is like it's been a long time since we've talked, Bridget. It's been
I
years.
know. I
It's
know.
great to
Since
see
you
you.
you came and picked me up from my flight attendant training compound
Yes.
and let me live as a normal human for a day, and that was nice.
Yeah, because you were trapped in the Delta. Or I'm sorry. Can we say
Yeah,
the
that's
name of it?
fine. I don't work for
Oh,
them
okay.
anymore. Yeah.
Okay, fucked
I
up.
was at the Delta compound in Atlanta.
Yeah, I want to hear about that if you could share the deets about that, but maybe we'll talk
Yeah.
about that later.
Yeah.
Um,
Wherever you want to start.
I think that the I'm still finding out what this show is, right? And so like kind of like locking down the direction. And I think like a really fun, juicy thumbnail and title is like confronting my ex-girlfriend, why she dumped me. I think that's really funny. So that's what I hope you're cool with that. Is that cool with you?
It is cool. No, I'm not saying this to be hurtful. I don't remember a lot of that. Like,
You're
like
like you're
when you said
completely
that,
irrelevant to me.
when you said that, I was like, when did we date? Not trying to be a dick. I remember you dated Caroline. Like, let's get
Yeah.
Caroline on here if you want to confront an ex-girlfriend.
That's true.
How
Oh
long did
man,
we
I feel bad about that one. That
how
one's
long
my
did we
fault.
date for?
Like a couple weeks.
Okay, well then, there was a lot of other things going on in seventh grade. Did
Yeah,
we
that's true.
what did we do for a date? Did we go and do something?
We never actually went on a date, but like we like dated in like middle school. Like I know, hey, it's not. Why are you blaming me? I wanted to. I think I invited you, and you like flaked, dude. I don't know. I
Oh, see, there we go. Not reliable. It all goes
no,
back to that.
I don't know. I that's what stood out to me in your outline, right? That the fact that like a line that I said to you haunted you you like
Yeah.
until you dealt with that in recovery is insane, and I feel terrible about that. But like I think that one thing that should be said is like I probably was dealing with negative emotion
Yeah.
because I felt rejected by you, right? And so I was like, oh, like here's a shitty thing to like fucking haunt somebody for the rest of their life.
Like way
Like
later though. This is in high school where you said this to me. But
yeah,
this
but I
was
don't know. That's like as I was reflecting before this conversation, like
Yeah.
that was one of the
You were like,
things that I
actually, I've hated Bridget all along from seventh grade when we dated for 2 weeks and didn't even go on a date. Is that what it was?
no, it's not that I hated you. It's that like I think part of me subconsciously was like super into you because like I think we're fun. I think that you're really cool, and I like part of me. I don't know. I recently released this video where I was like talking about like online dating, and it's very sad, and I'm in the woods, and I'm like very alone, and like and it's
Oh.
just like really depressing. And I think that like I have this weird. It's funny because you say that things that you said, that things that I said have haunted you for years, and I feel like
Uh-huh.
our relationship also haunted me for years as well.
I love that. I love to haunt people. I hope everybody's just carrying me around in the back of their head.
Can I share with you one thing that you said to me that
Please.
here we
I
go.
won't remember it, but tell me anyway.
I was like I was it was when God, this is weird, but like it was when we were in Atlanta and I'm thinking to myself like,
Yeah.
"Oh, cool, like we should go like, on a fucking date and not just be friends, but we should go on a date." And I remember you telling me you were like, "Well, the guy that I'm into rolls his own clove cigarettes." And like and that's
That's such a bad look for me personally. The only one who's
I'm
coming
sorry.
out of that embarrasses me, Noah.
No, I'm
Oh,
sorry. We can also cut. I feel
you
bad. I don't
don't have
know.
to cut any of this. I'm not
Okay,
embarrassed
cool.
about it. Yeah.
Cool.
No, I mean embarrassing because it speaks to my mental health at the time that I was into somebody who the main thing about them is that they roll their own clove cigarettes, you know?
I don't know. I
But
mean, I think that that person sounds
so
pretty
cool.
cool.
He's actually so nice. I know exactly who that is. He is so lovely. I did have I was in love with him while I was in Delta training. Lovely man. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's why I now only smoke clove cigarettes. So,
No.
I'm
Are you
kidding.
joking?
It's a joke. It's a joke. No.
Oh, that was gonna be really funny.
No, I don't smoke. I'm like a month sober, which is cool. From drugs and alcohol. Hearing that, like, I probably said that to you because I was like shitty and resentful all those years ago. Like, does
Mhm.
that change the context of that, or do you feel like that still holds true?
When I think back about like that whole time in high school, because like whatever. The high school we went to, like it had a really big arts program. Like that was, I think it was a great place to be in high school. Like looking back, obviously at the time you're like, I hate high school, but it was great. And like the teachers were really supportive and there was a ton of stuff going on. And always wanted to like be the vice president of this or involved in this or involved in that. But like I just could never show up. Like I was really good at like talking my way into it, and then I felt like I could never follow through because of, I was a teenager. Like I was struggling. I don't know. Um and so like when you said that to me, there wasn't a single part of me that was like he's not saying something true, you know? Does that make sense? Did I say that? Not saying something?
Yeah, no,
He
that
is
makes sense.
saying something true. Because I did feel like I wasn't reliable and I overcommitted myself. And I knew it was because like I wanted to be liked by people and I wanted to be involved. And like that was the other thing. Our old theater teacher, Mr. Engel, God rest his soul, when he said to me, like I don't know if I ever told you this. Did I tell you the story? He like
Yeah, I've
pulled
heard
me
this story,
in.
but yeah, tell it
Okay.
again because it's fucking
Because
crazy.
I think that you saying that and him saying that like go into each other. Because it was the end of my junior year when you said that to me. I had like fucked something up, hadn't done something. We had a big improv show. I was late or whatever, and you said that to me. And then like, whatever, a couple weeks go by, end of the semester, we do the elections for the following year, and I, got myself elected onto 15 different things. And he pulls me into my guidance counselor's office, Mr. Engel, and he sits me down with my guidance counselor who had no idea what he was about to say. And he just goes, Bridget, like, here's your absences for the year. Here's how many times you've been late to homeroom. Like, I've been watching you in your current positions. Like, there's no way that you can actually do all these different things. And I was like, well, like, I don't know. I think I said something like, well, I mean, I got elected to them. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And he was like, well, you use your charisma to manipulate people. And then, like, when you disappoint them, like, you just kind of get out of it. And he's like, but that's not going to serve you for the rest of your life. And like, and he told me I had to drop to just two things or he wasn't going to cast me in the fall play for my senior
Jeez.
year. Yeah, he stood on business. He said, I am not, and my poor guidance counselor was sitting there like, and yeah. And I remember like I walked out of there, I dropped some things. I was like, okay, heard, understood. But you know, also sobbing. And I remember I walked out and I saw Mary, our good friend, and I told Mary, and Mary was like, "Oh my God, that's so fucked up. I can't believe he said that to you, whatever." And I was like, "Am I using my charisma to manipulate her into saying this?" Like it really like I was like, "What am I doing that on purpose?" I think I just
Oh my
he showed
God.
me I think you saying that and him saying that, it was kind of a wake up call for me of like, okay, like, are you doing this intentionally or not? And like, if you are doing it intentionally because you do genuinely want to kind of get away with things and like, be a part of things without having to work hard, like, but you are doing it intentionally, like to manipulate people to get away with it, then like that's something you need to stop doing. And then
Sure.
obviously, like when my drinking got really bad, I would think about it all the time because I was like, wow, people just make excuses for me all the time.
Interesting.
Um,
I say that like one, I am sorry for telling you that because I don't think that that is
Stop
a
apologizing. It
no,
was
it's not. No,
helpful.
genuinely. I mean, it's wonderful that like that felt helpful to you, but I think like hearing my own words back to me 10 years later is like haunting, right? To think that that stuck with you for that long, like because I think nowadays I would handle a conversation like that very differently, right? Like
Yeah.
because that phrasing. Okay, so we've talked about how I'm trying to lock down what this show is going to be, and I also have another show called Chasing Dragons, where I essentially coach entrepreneurs, right? And as I've prepared for that and like learned more like coaching frameworks and stuff, there are some things about how you actually help people make progress in their lives, and if you're trying to give them constructive feedback and stuff, like that level of harshness, I think is not valuable, right? And so
Mm,
I think I think instead of something like I think a more productive thing would be like, hey, like Bridget, you are one of the funniest improvisers that I've ever met. Like because I
mhm.
I still remember like scenes that we did together,
It was
and
fun.
like there are some of the funniest things, not just fun, but like genuinely like I remember this one scene that we did together when we were on like the summer team that I made or whatever, like
Oh yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
college.
Hmm.
We did a scene together in that, and I just remember fucking cracking up because it was the funniest shit I'd ever been a part of, and I was like, wow, I was
Yeah.
super proud to like, make something like that. Um, and so I don't know. I just hearing that nowadays, like, oh, like I don't know, both of those lines of your good qualities are meaningless if you're unreliable. That's not true. Like, like your good qualities are still good qualities. And like in order to be reliable, like you don't make somebody reliable by like, fucking being like you're unreliable. You make someone reliable. You make them reliable by being like, hey, like you're a valued member of this team in this community. And like, but like at the same time, it sucks when, you drop the ball in these ways, but like here's a path
Mhm.
forward of like please do these things, and like I don't know, and it just seems super lazy and mean to me and cruel to say something like that to somebody. So I want to take responsibility for that and apologize because that sucks. That's a shitty thing to say to somebody.
Yeah, I do appreciate you saying that. I do think like it wasn't like you were saying it to me in the context of a friend. Like you were saying it as like we are trying to make this
Do a
improv
thing.
group together and like, you know, and I think like if a boss said that to you, I think you'd be like, yeah, okay. Like in a business setting or like in the setting of trying to build something, I don't know, like I think it's fair enough. Like yes, if you're so great when you show up, but you only show up 50% of the time, like who would you rather have? Somebody who's always, reliable and shows up but maybe isn't as great, or someone who you just never know. So
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
know. I won't let you take that piece of advice from me because it's helpful to me.
Well, good. That's good. I'm glad that the devastating thing that I said when we were 15 helped you.
Thank
But
you.
that's I don't know how do you think that has so let's get into the addiction stuff, like I don't know, like because the last time I talked to you was in Atlanta years and years
Yeah.
ago. I think, or no, we did a podcast in like 2020. That was 5 years ago. 5 year check-in. So what happened?
No.
post Delta stuff?
Um, yeah. So, I mean, in terms of the drinking, like that, it was going on actually, like when we last saw each other. It really, obviously, like we all have the benefit of hindsight, and like looking back, like I've never wanted to drink normally. Like I do remember I have that very alcoholic memory of like the very first time I drank. I was at my uncle's house. I was 12 years old. It was a family reunion. And I think my uncle thought I was like one of the older cousins. And so he made me a mudslide, which is literally like chocolate milk and alcohol. So great drink to give a 12-year-old. And
Jesus.
yeah, and I, took that guy down and I was like, oh. And I had these two older cousins who were so cool and like, whatever. I just worshiped them and they thought I was lame. And I remember when I drank that first time when I was with them, it was the first time I wasn't like worried about how I was appearing to them. Like I wasn't thinking about how I looked or what I said. Like I was just kind of in this place of like warmth and everything seemed funnier and whatever. And so, like, from the very beginning, I think alcohol was like a solution to a problem for me rather than just like a fun thing to do. And then, obviously, like, I wasn't, we were just talking about the improv club. I wasn't a cool kid in high school. Like, I wasn't going to parties or anything. Actually, my one really big moment of drinking in high school was at your house when me and Nick ate too many chips in the car, and then I puked
Were
queso
you in
dip
high school
up
during that?
all
Were
over
you in
your
high school?
barn.
I
Were we
thought
in
that
high
was
school?
college. I think that was
Were we
college.
in college?
I think we were in college during that.
Maybe you and Nick were. I don't think I was, because I remember your mom told me the next morning when I woke up at your house, inside your house, with no memory of getting there. And I was sitting down at the kitchen table, and your mother, who's the nicest woman in the world, looked very sternly at me and was like, I'm not gonna tell your parents, but like, you should tell them. And it was the worst. That's another
Oh my
moment I
God.
remember so clearly because I was like, oh my God, the
Norma
right thing to
Jean.
the right
Norma
thing would
Jean's
be
the
to tell
goat.
on myself. To be fair, I puked queso all over her barn. I bet she was upset.
Yeah. I
I think
remember
I was
cleaning
in
that.
I think
Like
I
you
was in
guys
my
cleaned
senior
that.
year.
Got it. I thought you were definitely in college at that time, but interesting.
Because
Okay. Yeah,
you
what a
and Nick
great
would have
story.
been.
Yeah. Can I share that story from the get here? So like
Baguette.
you and Nick came over like, and you were like pre-gaming in the car and you had already like drank
We
a
had
bottle of
arrived
wine.
at the destination and pre-gamed in the car. We were not like in the streets of Manlius chugging it down. But yes, continue. We were in your driveway.
Yes, you were in the driveway pre-game and then I showed up and then like, I don't know, we were like young and dumb and like I don't know, got really hammered that night and then like and I like went away to like get like water. You guys were like, "Hey, do you have any water?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I like went to get like bottles of water and I came back and I just you ever see that scene from Family Guy where like they're all puking on each other and stuff? It was like that. I just like came back and it was just a fountain of vomit just from both of you.
Same.
Just like
Rough, rough stuff.
and then I was like, fuck, like what do I do? Like, we're all drunk children. Cause I remember like both of your parents started to like call you both profusely and your phones were just ringing off the hook. And there was this moment of just like, what the fuck do we do? And so I just was like, okay, fuck it. And I just was like, hey, mom and dad, Bridget and Nick are in the barn and they're like puking like crazy. What a podcast, man.
Oh
Sorry.
my God. That's why I think I was in high school, because otherwise I'm like, would it have been that big of a deal? Like,
Yeah.
because it felt like a big deal. Like, I
Yeah.
remember being like, that's the most serious trouble I've ever gotten into in high school, speaking in your barn.
That's so
Um,
funny.
oh, that was so terrible. But yeah, we should have known back then what was coming. And then alcoholism got worse. Yeah. So,
So tell me about that. If you're okay with it. I don't mean to.
yeah.
God, this is like this conversation so far has just been like a torture session. The first podcast, when we did our podcast 5 years ago, it was like very fun and light and one of like the best
Yeah.
conversations ever. It was super fun. This one just feels like a fucking just like hey, let's talk about this fucked up thing. Then this one. Then this one.
It's
But
been
you
so
know what?
long. I think it's
Exactly.
good. I think it's good. We're getting into it.
Wonderful.
Um,
So what happened after I see you in the Delta training program and stuff? Like, what was life like And like, I don't know, do you mind talking about that? Because I find that to be fascinating.
Yeah, no, of course. So, yeah, like I had struggled throughout college, but like was keeping my shit together. I took my senior fall semester off because I basically had like a little mental breakdown. And I was like, oh, I'm just depressed, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I have like all these empty bottles in my closet. I'd like just turned 21. So, anyway, pulled it together, graduated, literally went to Delta training the weekend after I graduated college, and was like, I'm gonna pull it together. Like, college is over, whatever. And then I was a flight attendant for 6 months, and then COVID happened. And at that point, like, honestly, even during Delta training, I kind of knew I was an alcoholic. I had this like weird thing where I would read all these memoirs about like people getting sober, and then I would be like, "Yep, I am an alcoholic." And maybe if I read enough of these, it'll just magically go away. And it didn't. So, so I very much like knew that I had a problem. Like at that point, there wasn't any part of me that was like, "It's fine." But when COVID happened, it wasn't like I was going out with the other crew members anymore. Like, I mean, it was crazy flying during COVID. Like, I remember walking through JFK, and the only sound I could hear was like my own bag rolling behind me. Like, there was none of the things were open, no one was in the terminal. And so then when we would go on our layovers at night, like you weren't supposed to see the other flight attendants. You weren't really supposed to go anywhere. So I would pack like a box of wine or like a bottle of vodka in my bag because I was like, well, I can't go anywhere. Nothing's open. So again, we also like your bags don't really get searched by security as a flight attendant. You go through like your own separate checkpoint. You're allowed to have bigger liquids, so whatever. Um, so I just kind of got into the habit of like drinking alone in a hotel room. And it was like after, the year of COVID, like after that ended, it was like the world opened back up, and like I just did not want to go back out into it. Um, because at that point, like the idea of going out with other people and having like two drinks and having to wait for a bartender, like that just wasn't what I was there for. I was there to get as drunk as possible. Um, so that went on for 3.5 more years. And
Wow.
then in October of 2022, um, I I don't know, like nothing really happened. Like there was times where like I was going to work drunk, like I started drinking in the mornings. It was like real classic alcoholism. All the things you read about. I was sleeping on top of my dirty clothes. There were so many crumbs in my bed that like I was basically exfoliating my legs every time I went to sleep. I got oral thrush because like I kept passing out like without brushing my teeth. Like it was so bad. So
I'm really
bad.
sorry. That's awful, and I'm
Oh
sorry
my
that you
God.
went through that. I
No, I mean, it's all good.
yeah. And then recovery October 2022. Yeah.
Yes, October 2022, my stepmom felt like there was something kind of off about me because no one in my life really knew this was going on. Like, I just kind of like when I was flying, I would tell people that the reason I wasn't coming out with them is because I had family or friends in the city that we were in. And then when I got home, I would tell my friends at home, like, oh my God, I had so much fun with this flight attendant. We did this. Like, I was just lying, using my charisma to manipulate people and getting away with it. And then my stepmom, though, she was like, something's just off about you. And so her best friend is an astrologist. And for
Oh.
my 25th birthday, she said, I'm gonna get you a session with my best friend, the astrologist. And I said, okay. And this woman is a witch. Okay. She knows things about you. Noah, if we put you in her, like the things she would tell
Okay.
you about yourself. And so anyway, she does my whole chart thing, and I'm talking to her, and at some point in it,
Where is
like
she based? Is she
she was in New York. I was like doing this on Zoom while I was living in Minnesota. So I'm like in my
okay?
living
Is
room,
she in
probably
Syracuse?
drunk. No, she's in like Westchester, New York. That's like where
Okay.
my stepmom's from.
Cool. I would
Um
love to do a podcast with her. It'd be really fun.
I will give you her
Hell
information
yeah.
after this because
Hell yeah.
she's very cool. She's very intense. Kind of
Hell yeah.
scary.
That's perfect.
Yeah, she's cool. So she, you know, whatever. She's reading my chart. She's telling me about my houses and whatever. And at one point, like, she says something about how there's like this big dark thing in my life. And she's like, you know, if you can just overcome this, like these are all the other great things that are going to happen, but like you might not overcome this. So like, what do you think that is? And this woman, like, I'd never met her before. My stepmom didn't know exactly what was going on. Like, so, you know, I don't think she had any reason to believe it, that there was something wrong. And I just started crying and I was like, I think I'm an alcoholic. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to stop drinking and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, like, how much do you drink? And I told her like a much lower amount than what I actually did. And she was like, every day? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, have you thought about inpatient treatment? And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And she was like rehab. And I was like, oh my God, what would she have said if she knew the actual number? You know? It's like, oh no, I'm in trouble.
Yeah,
So
rough.
yeah, so whatever. That happens, you know, end the session. I think about it for a second. I'm like, that's crazy. Doesn't she know that I'm a flight attendant? Everything's fine. Okay. I'm managing everything perfectly.
I am a functional alcoholic.
I
Thank
said, I'm
you.
sorry. You should see me in my little scarf. Like you'd never know. Okay. And then I went and saw one of my best friends who was like one of the only people who had an idea of how bad it was. And I looked at her and I was like, this fucking astrologist lady just told me I should go to rehab. Can you believe that? And my best friend just looks at me and she's like, mm-hmm. And I was like, do you think I should go to rehab? And she's like, mm-hmm. And you know, called my dad, said, I think I need to go to rehab. He said, okay. We hung up. I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb for 3 days, drank for 3 days straight. My
Oh,
friend came over. She was like, your dad's calling me. He's like about to fly out here. I was like, all right, everybody calm down. I don't know why everyone's getting so dramatic for. I'm
I'm almost
fine.
dead, but you
I'm a
know it's
flight
fine.
attendant.
Like,
It's fine.
I'll look at my
God.
scarf. Like,
I was like, I literally just went to Paris. I'm fine. And so he had just moved to Litchfield, Connecticut, like 2 months prior. And he was like, I want you to go to treatment at this place near me. I like found it on Google Maps, you know. I was like, okay. And it ended up being this like fantastic treatment center, which like now working in treatment, I'm like, oh my God, this could have gone so differently. Like
oh yeah,
just
if you went
seeing
to a different
how,
one or something.
yeah, there's so many terrible ones. And like they're
Hmm.
terrible in so many different ways. And like you don't know how to navigate the system until you've been through it. And so, like, I really lucked out by the fact that my dad, 2 months prior, happened to move 30 minutes away from like this fantastic place that's been around for over 80 years. Like, um,
Sure. Can I jump in for a second? Because
yeah,
I know
I'm
I've been
sorry,
like
I've been
laughing. You're
yapping.
totally fine. No, thank you so much for sharing that story. And I also just like, I don't know, I think it's important for me to jump in. And I laugh because you're a great storyteller, and like I also know you really well, and so like it's really like I don't know, you
It's
make a whole.
funny.
It's not funny in like a haha way. It's funny in like a oh like I don't know. It's funny in the way like a Mike Birbiglia special is funny, where it's like oh that's
Dude,
horribly
great
tragic.
compliment.
Absolutely, no, for sure. Like yeah, absolutely. Um, but yeah, like I'm sorry that that happened, but also like it's really cool that you seem super well adjusted. Like the fact that you can talk about these things, like and that you've like worked through like the shame of like going through this shit, and so
Yeah.
that like to talk about it openly, but then also to talk about it on a fucking podcast, like with your name on it, is like a huge deal. So like I think that that's what do you think? Because like I've met people who have similar stories as that. You know, I'm a month sober because like you know drugs and alcohol were impacting my life in negative ways, and like I don't really love to be like so you know here's the negative ways in which drugs and alcohol were affecting
Yeah,
my life.
tell me about it.
I don't know. It was just a lot of like man when you get a lot of negative comments on the internet, it's kind of easier to just like
Yeah,
disassociate
go
with
gently into that good night.
yeah, but it's just like,
Mhm.
oh, cool. Just like I can fuck. I used to. I make a joke because like there's a. I don't know if you watch The Legend of Korra, but do you know Zahir?
Yes.
When he
Yes,
goes,
I
when he
do.
goes, when he goes, release your earthly tether, become
Yes.
wind.
What is it? Float and become air? It's something and become
Yeah,
air.
yeah, no,
Yes.
become wind. Yeah, release your earthly tether and become wind. And I
Yes.
think that's the funniest way to say that you're high as fuck is to be like, I've
Honestly,
released my.
when my boyfriend and I were rewatching that, we were like, someone on this staff writing panel is in recovery. Cause like so much shit that gets said, like General Iroh, all the shit he spits out, like
Yeah.
we were like, someone here has had a little trouble in the past.
Oh,
Because
for
there's
sure. Are
so
you
many
kidding me?
things that
With
connect. Yeah.
Zuko? Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
come on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Zuko is essentially a little junior alcoholic.
I
Um,
know. Fueled by
yeah,
resentment. Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, I think that it's amazing and clear evidence of like how much progress you've made, and it's really impressive. And I don't know, can you speak to that? What do you think helped you the most in your recovery journey and dealing with that stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in AA. And I don't, there's like, everyone kind of has their own relationship with like how open they want to be about that. I mean, it does say in AA, like it's Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Like you're supposed to be anonymous. Um, so like I know a lot of people who are like proudly sober people who like still wouldn't do something like this and like come on a podcast and say they're in AA. Dax Shepard actually on his podcast gets like a lot of flack for that because he openly talks about AA all the time and he's like supposed to be anonymous. But for me, like I remember listening to Dax Shepard when I was still drinking and being like, oh, that dude is in AA. Like maybe AA is not just like sad people in a church basement. Like maybe there are cool people there or whatever. I don't know. I guess that sounds bad, but that is, I do
No,
remember
I
thinking
love
that and
that.
being like,
I
I should
love
give it
that.
a shot.
Sure.
So that's me justifying me talking about it because I do feel weird doing it. But it is like all because of AA. Like that's what my treatment center is founded on. Like you get a therapist, you get a psychiatrist, like that's all awesome, but like it's literally AA boot camp. Like there's like this big book, the big blue book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Um and I remember reading that book and just being like, holy shit, some dude, like the stockbroker dude in the 1940s wrote his life story and I can absolutely relate to every single thing he's saying now in 2022, like in my little dorm room with this book, because we have the same thing, which is the disease of alcoholism. And so to be able to like go to a space where everyone who walks in that room like is there for the same reason, even though you all have completely different backgrounds. And like you basically you get a sponsor and you like go through like the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Hmm.
Um and my sponsor is like this fantastic woman who's been sober for a long time. And like, she does not get paid to hang out with me and hear all the annoying shit I have to tell her. Like, one of the main things that you do in AA is you write your fourth step, which is like an inventory of your past. You like write all your resentments, all the harms you've done, blah blah blah.
And you wrote down Noah Chrysler once told me that I fucking am
You are
flaky.
not on my resentment list. You are on my harms done list because I felt that
Oh,
I could have handled our friendship better.
oh.
Um, but yeah, like I mean, you go back, you go that deep, you put down like, whatever. So this woman, like for the past I was in treatment for almost 6 months and then afterwards, got out, stayed in the area. So I've been working with her for like the past 2 years and like she knows every horrible thing I've ever done. She's shared a lot of her past with me and like the only reason that she's doing that is because somebody did it for her. Like that's what I love about AA is like you're giving freely what was given to you. Um and everyone in AA is just like sometimes I have to remind myself actually that like I shouldn't be so open about it because I work in treatment and because a lot of my friends who are like local here are in recovery, like sometimes I'll say shit in front of my dad and he'll be like, "You did what?" Or like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, but like it's fine. Like I
Yeah,
survived. Like I don't know
yeah.
why you're like I'll be
Now
talking
I'm
about
good.
like how many times I like fell asleep in the hotel bathtub like while I was drinking and I'd wake up and I'd be like because I was like almost drowning and he's like looking at me like And like my boyfriend who's in recovery is like, yeah, good thing you didn't drown. Like that would have sucked. So I think everyone just has like a kind of a dark humor. You would love AA.
Yeah.
You would
Oh
really
man.
enjoy people in AA.
Hopefully I never
Um,
have to I don't know. I don't know. I could see this the shitty part is that like I don't know. I think that like if my career doesn't start going in the right direction, like I feel like I'm gonna be like in my like mid 50s. If I'm like alone in my mid 50s, then I think I'm gonna have to experience what AA is like. Cause like fuck me, dude. Like I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. But no, I think that like I think that it's fantastic that you can openly talk about it. I think that did you watch like John Mulaney's special about his addiction experiences? Yeah.
the line that he says in that, where every time I'm alone, I'm hanging out with the person who tried to kill me. Pulled no
Fantastic.
punches. I said to someone the other day, I want to have that written out and I
Uh,
want to put it up on the wall in my office because it's
oh, that's
so
so funny.
good. Yeah,
That's so
anyway,
funny.
keep going. Sorry. I love
No, you're
that
good. I'm
special.
sorry. I'm sorry about what you've been through, but I mean, you seem like you're stronger for it, and the idea that like you're using your story and your experiences to help other people, like I don't know, like that's so cool. I mean, you're like a very wonderful communicator. You always have been. You've been a fantastic writer and actress and like improviser person, and like I think. I think that my life has been difficult because I'm trying to use that skill set and trying to like position it properly in the market in a way that makes me money without like killing me, right?
Yeah.
And without make me want to kill myself. And like, and you can do like sales, but like sales unless you're like most of sales is like taking a shitty thing and like trying to get people to fucking buy it, right? And
Yeah.
so it's like and so that sucks cuz I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. And so I feel like and I've had other like good experiences in my life where I've used those skills for other things, but sometimes they're used. Sometimes bad actors want to use those skills to do bad things. Because like I don't know, when you're trying to do bad stuff and you have this like fun person who's really good at using their charisma to manipulate people, then like
Yeah. Is this about the video? Well, I did a little deep diving on that.
yeah,
That
it's
was
rough.
tough. Reading those
Yeah.
comments were tough.
Oh yeah, that's a super fun comment section.
Yeah.
No, I think that it's just I mean, I don't know. I need to not talk about that 24/7 because I feel like a lot of
Okay.
my content is talking about that. So I don't want to do a super huge deep dive in that. But like at the same time, like I've been a fan of online communities for a very long time, and I think
Yeah.
that that is just organically what happens when someone pulls at the fabric of a reality that a lot of people enjoy,
Mm,
they get punished for destroying an illusion, right? Or like impacting it in any way, right? And so
yeah.
I don't know. It's like a curated culture that is specifically groomed to be that way, right?
Mm,
And that's what people in my life didn't understand, right? Like I think there was many people in my life who were like, why are you so afraid? And it's like because you don't understand. Like there's millions of these people. Like
yeah.
like there are millions of these people that worship this person, and they don't. I wouldn't say they're the most media literate people on the planet, and they do not have much empathy. And I've spent my entire life trying to build a career on the internet, and so to have a few million people on the internet who like fucking suddenly want you dead it's a weird thing to navigate. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, I think it's really cool the way that you've used your story to help other people out of addiction. I think that that's fantastic. What is like, have you learned anything like mental model stuff or like things about people, things about psychology since working in AA and helping other people on their recovery? Like things that are beneficial and useful to working with people? What types of things like that? Anything like that?
Yeah, I think the most helpful thing that like I think everyone should kind of apply to their own lives is that in AA you like don't tell people what to do. Like that's a big no-no. Like you don't say this is what you go do. It's kind of like a little it's kind of like a little Yoda advice situation where like people make suggestions, but really like you only talk about yourself. Like one of the which sounds like bad. Like it sounds like it's okay, then everybody's just talking about themselves. But I think that there's something about like hearing someone's story, identifying it, and then identifying like what they did wrong and how you can learn from that, or what they did right and how you can learn from that. Um, how do I want to say this? My brain is like buffering right now.
You're good. Maybe I can talk for a little bit. I think that that's a fantastic. I think
Please.
that's fantastic because I'm trying to, or not trying to. I'm studying like personal like business coaching frameworks because I think that
Yeah.
that's how I'm going to use my manipulative charisma in my life is trying to manipulate business owners to making better businesses. And one of those, like all of the frameworks are essentially, excuse me, they all boil down to the same thing, which is like you're essentially like trying to Jesus.
What was
Motivate.
that?
I don't know. I have smart lights, and sometimes when the Russians attack our infrastructure, they hack
Oh
into my Philips
no.
Hue. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh no.
When you're doing a lot of like coaching stuff is like motivational interviewing stuff. That's why I think that what is it? What is the other conflagulatory like disciplinary like stuff like when you're like, hey, do this like you like shame based advice giving. I have a lot to
Sure.
say about shame
You
based
clearly
advice
do.
giving. Yeah.
For someone who does it.
Do I do it? I hope I don't do
No,
it.
I'm making a joke about
Oh,
what you
okay.
said to me when we were younger. It's just a joke.
I feel bad about that still.
Don't.
No,
Don't.
like, because, like, I don't know. That's in the environment that I was in. Shame-based advice giving was kind of the whole. That was what paid the rent, right? And it was like, okay, cool, like, and and I knew that that wasn't helpful, and I knew that that wasn't effective, and I just got a really, really loud notification in my headphones. It was really loud, but that's okay. We're gonna ignore it because a professional ignores it.
You're doing
but
great.
but no, a lot of it is more of like motivational interviewing, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
connecting with somebody emotionally and having like just reflecting back to them using like active listening what they're already saying, right? Making sure they feel heard and
Yeah.
listened to and not being preachy and being like, hey, like you should do this and then your problems are all fixed. And
Yeah.
as I make more coaching stuff, I hope that that is the direction I'm moving in instead of because it's also very easy to a lot of these online gurus like they are just like, well, you should just do this, this, and this, and like, and that is a compulsion that I have, right? That's something that I want to do because like
Yeah.
I have my own experiences uh that inform like the idea that I know better than certain people,
Mm.
but at the same time that's not effective. You know, that really truly isn't effective when you're working with an individual. So I don't know. Did your thought buffer as you were buffering over there?
Yes, it did. And what you were saying helps me kind of get the train back.
Here we go.
Um, yeah, I mean, like it's funny because if someone doesn't really know a lot about AA, like you'll have this happen sometime where someone will share about, something bad that happened to them that day or something they're struggling with. And then someone will raise their hand and they'll say, so I think you should do this. And that's like the word you should like never come out of your mouth. And like other people will share basically in response to what this person is saying, but they will never say the word you. They'll never say that that's who it's to. Like they'll just kind of talk about their own. And then you kind of just have to like follow the thread and see like, okay, is this, what message am I trying to get from here? But I think that, yeah, people don't really respond well to that. And I also think at the end of the day, like a big thing in AA is the serenity prayer, like things, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change things I can. And something my sponsor and I talk a lot about is like when we talk about the wisdom to know the difference between what I can change and what I can't change, the literal only thing I can change is myself. Like it's not, oh, I can't change my mom, but I can change my boyfriend. Like it's just yourself. So I think that idea of like, okay, I can't control what others do. It's not my business to take up the sword of justice and like get my self-righteousness out on everybody else's business. So how do if I can't control others and, I can't have the world according to me exist, like how do I then still find some sort of inner peace among like the chaos of it?
Can I ask you a question? One
Yeah.
conversation that I remember us having a very long time ago is you asked me, and I think that it shows. I think that this question, I bring it sticks in my memory for two reasons. Because like, I think it tells a little bit about what you experienced, but then it also tells about like what I also like my reality at that time, and it was
Mhm.
you were talking about like betrayal, right? Like when Noah, when somebody betrays you, how do you know like when it's appropriate to forgive them, right? Do you remember having that conversation with me years ago?
No, what are we talking about?
I don't know who we were talking about, but like I know we had this conversation, and I will
It's
never
not,
forget
I'm
it.
not surprised, but yeah, I don't remember the context, but keep going.
But you were like, I just don't know when it's appropriate to forgive somebody and that sort of thing. And I remember my little naive ass who really hadn't seen much of the world. I was just like, oh, just immediately forgive anybody, anytime for anything, right? And it was like, and like now I think about that, probably 10 years later, and I'm like, well, that's fucking not the right answer to that question, right? But I also think that you were really struggling too with this idea of forgiving other people, and I just will never forget that conversation. I don't know what are your thoughts around that? I guess have they developed at all since? Because like you were really struggling. I remember you were really struggling. You were like, this
No,
person hurt me. This person hurt me, and I don't know if I should trust them again, or something like that. Is essentially what the crux of it was.
that is so fascinating. I have no idea. See, this is honestly the lesson for it is I was so hurt by this person. I have no idea who that could be.
Yeah,
No
just keep
idea.
moving. Just keep
Clearly,
moving, and
clearly I forgave him, I hope. I mean, I think I would have had a really different answer before I got sober. Like I definitely was like, I had so much shame and insecurity around my drinking. Like I was like, trust nobody, let nobody in. Like I had my friends, like I wasn't dating anybody while I was drinking. Like, I had I fell so deeply and unrealistically in love with this flight attendant, and he had a girlfriend, and like we had this whole will they, won't they? And then we did. And then he said
wow,
he wasn't going to break up with his girlfriend. And then a month later, I like came out of this concert and he was standing in the rain and he was like, I did break up with my girlfriend. Like, I just would never forgive myself. We didn't try this.
Jesus.
Imagine that happening and you're drinking almost 24/7. Like the level of removal from reality that was happening at the
Oh my
time.
god.
So like he was someone who I was so not even like angry at, but like I was just so hurt by. And that the last time we ever talked was I think June of 2022. And it's like not, you know, it makes sense that from, June 2022 and then October 2022 was when I went to rehab because things just really got so much worse after that. And in a lot of ways, I think I was kind of like drinking at him. Like I was like, fuck you. Like if you don't recognize how like good that could have been. Because it was just one of those people who you meet who it's like it just clicks. Like I was convinced he was my soulmate. And like halfway through my time at rehab, I found out I opened my phone on Valentine's Day and it was a picture on his Instagram and he was getting engaged.
Oh. Oh man, the dagger. The
So
fucking
like not
dagger.
long after, this girl looks just like me.
Oh my
Um
god.
and but I don't know. I think it was like a previous girlfriend who like he kind of came back
Sure.
around to.
Rekindled.
And you know what? Like I was so mad at him. I wrote all these like horrible songs about him, like just fuck you and you should have known better and how dare you and I trusted whatever. And like at the end of the day, like I've I've hurt people before. Clearly, I hurt you in seventh grade. And I know I've hurt other men in similar ways and
It's let
like,
me clarify. And I also like if I said that to you in junior year and I was dating somebody else, then like maybe I wasn't like feeling
I
this
think
like
you
weird
just were like,
rejection or
you need to get your shit together because
then
you're
then yeah, then maybe I shouldn't have
I
like
don't
I
think it
don't
was
know because
about that.
I thought I said that at a different point. If I was dating somebody else, then that's probably not what my motivations were. That said, like I do think that when people say like super negative stuff to you like
Yeah.
that, like I think it says more about that person than it says about you. I don't know. I'm not cool that I said that. Like I don't think it's cool that I said that to you. I think that that's fucked up. I don't think that
We
that's
can
like a
bring this up every 10 minutes of the conversation. We'll come back. You'll say, I
every
shouldn't have said it. It
five
was really
years because
mean.
in 5 years from now I'm gonna apologize again, right? Because
All
I
right.
did it probably,
Fair
and I hope
enough.
I apologized 5 years ago during our COVID-19 conversation.
Did I
But
bring it up then too?
I don't know, probably I
Oh, boy.
usually bring up the same stuff.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I want to clarify, like I don't What I think it is was I think that like I don't know, we were super young, but like I do think that like that did fuck with me, and I think that like throughout my life I've been dealing with this idea of like pining after women, right? Which
Yeah.
I hate to admit, you know, but just like developing like crushes and then just like seeking validation from external sources, right?
Yeah.
Either social media or women or like you know or authority figures, right?
Yeah.
and and I think that most recently in my life within the last month it's like okay cool, like stop validation seeking behavior, right? Which sucks
Yeah.
because like it makes life very boring, right? I stopped doing drugs, I stopped doing alcohol, like drinking alcohol, I stopped using social media, and I turned my phone black and white, and now I'm just like okay cool, regardless of what the dipshits in the comments say, I can do the same thing for me. So like instead of looking for a pat on the head, just get to work. And it sucks and it's boring. Like a lot of it is boring. Like it's just like a lot of like, you know, 12-hour work days of just like
Mm-hmm.
fucking make this stupid ass system work a little bit better. But like
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I feel way better. I feel way better. And life is way more boring. Like, you know, like you don't have these constant emotional roller coasters of like
Yeah.
but uh but it's felt nice. And so that's what I think this era of my life has been about after crashing out on the internet a little bit and having everyone be like you're a fucking pussy. Like it's like oh okay well I don't know. I didn't have a choice other than to disengage with that because like
Yeah.
I did re-engage for a very long time. And it's like, well, actually you're a fucking idiot and like here's 10 things that you're wrong about. And it's like, okay, cool. That is not gonna work. Like, you know,
Yeah.
there's too many. There are too many of them to convince each one.
Yes.
So I can't. So the only other choice is to disengage. And then once you do that, you focus on yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that's been my life, and that's been the direction I've been going. And that's why I don't know, I know it's weird to talk about stuff from 7th grade and people in the comments are going to be like, "Oh, no one needs to get the fuck over it." But like, I don't know, I do think I think it's this pattern in my life where I seek external validation from other people, and it's a pattern that I've been trying to break, and I think I've had some success recently trying to do that. So,
I
I don't
love
know.
that for you. I think that's
Yeah.
fantastic. And I like what you're talking about with that, like I think obviously with what you've been through recently, like forgiveness is a really difficult thing to have. Like one thing they talk about in AA is like a justified resentment because so many resentments are unjustified, right? Like you're pissed off because someone cut you off in traffic, but like you have no idea what they meant to do or did not mean to do. But
Right.
like when you have a situation, like I felt this way about this flight attendant. I was like, I felt that he sh- knew what he was doing and like hurt me anyway. Like I have every right to be angry with him. But at the end of the day, like he's fucking fine. And like your guy, your that internet man, he's fucking fine. Like the only person who is being hurt by me being angry and resentful and all these things is me. So it's like for me, if I have to forgive him in order to move on, otherwise I'll just be like angry about it forever. And like it's just kind of at the end of the day, like I have to do it for myself. It's not even really about the other person. Um, because yeah, nobody likes to be around someone who wants to tell the same angry story 15 times, which is what I did when I broke up with this guy, or he broke up with me.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that's a really good point. I think that, you know, you talked about justified anger. I think that it's important to me that people understand that I am extremely angry in that recounting of that story, especially in like the other thing is that people don't understand is that like people are like, oh well, none of this was traumatic, and it's like, well, okay, well, you know, I have literally all of the symptoms listed on the DSM, like you know, so like your opinion of the fact that nothing I experienced was traumatic, I don't think is super relevant in this equation. Like you know, random person who does not know me or my life at all whatsoever. Look at your cool running watch. You're like a real outdoorsy runner, woodsy person. Is that a Garmin?
it's a Garmin.
Oh shit!
Thanks for asking. I've just been like this the entire interview. Just
Look at my
whoa, those
fucking
steps.
Garmin.
Hold on, my heart rate real quick. Yes, it is. It's the Forerunner 55. It's the cheapest one.
Wow, nice. Well,
Yeah,
you know what? My Garmin is the cheaper version, which I don't have. I don't have a Garmin.
nice.
Bridget, why do men keep confessing their erectile dysfunction to you? I hope you're not like offended by this, but like this show's gonna grow into something like totally different. It's gonna be essentially like it's going to be me trying to find like extremely extreme and strange interesting people like like that have
Right here, but that's fine.
no, but like trying to do it like more deliberately, like one example I
Hmm.
gave is like I want to like talk to a furry, and just like learn everything about like what that is about, like
Okay, right here.
yeah, Bridget, what's
That's
your
a joke.
persona?
That's a joke.
For now, maybe in 5 years
For
you're gonna be
now.
in 5 years from now we're gonna do another podcast after the robots have taken over, and you're
Yeah,
gonna be a furry.
it'll be great.
That's okay. That's what I'm going. That's
Okay,
hopefully.
so you're gonna find furries. Your whole pivot is that you're gonna just find a bunch of furries, interview
It's a
them.
show about furries. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I love that.
No, here's the thing is that like I want to do like my YouTube channel is going to be like I kind of want to make it like left brain shit and then also right brain shit, right? Because I think that
Okay.
like the interesting thing about me is that I think I'm fascinated by both, right? Like I'm both like a fucking nerd and like business like life coach obsessed type person, right? Like but then I also think that like I'm a fucking weird artist type too that loves comedy and loves weird creative shit, right? So
Yeah.
so so I've got two shows, right? The first one is like a business coaching show called Chasing Dragons, right? And I've recently just built out all the systems around that and I'm like going to become or I've been working on this and I do think that already I have the skills to be like a really really solid and really really good business coach, right?
That's
Um
awesome.
yeah, because like I don't know, I built a marketing agency and during that I talked to a lot of fucking business coaches and most of them suck. They just suck because they don't care, right? They don't care and like they don't ask enough questions and they don't have enough information and like and then if they do, like you either get a nerd, right? Like you either get somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing or you get like, like the soft skills, like creative person, right? And so it's like, okay, cool. I'm fucking crazy because I am both of those things, right? So I'm gonna ask you as many questions as I can to fucking learn everything about your business, right? But then also I'm fun, right? So like, and hopefully I'm pretty good at working with people. So that's the first show is Chasing Dragons. The idea coming from Don Quixote. Are you a big Don Quixote fan?
I am familiar, but not a big fan.
Well, it's a good book and a good the film adaptation is pretty good too.
Is that Man
Um,
a la Mancha? Is that song?
yeah,
I am
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
donkey. Okay, yep.
yeah. I love that fucking musical. It's great. And so yeah, Chasing Dragons is that, and then Brain Juice is going to be a show where essentially what I realized is like, if you look back at the top performing episodes of this, and also other people, their strategy on the internet is just like find something that's like divisive or sticks out from like you're an improviser, like base reality, right? Like base
Yeah.
reality, let's just say base reality is normal, and then like you need to just find something that sticks out a ton from base reality,
Yeah.
right? And that's what brain juice is just like go find somebody who sticks out from reality, right, in some interesting way. And how do they stick out, and are they comfortable with being framed as like hey, are you cool with me titling this video, confronting my ex-girlfriend about how she broke my heart into a million little pieces? Right? It's like because like that's inherently interesting, right? And so
Yeah.
that's what brain juice is like how do I create a mechanism and a machine that just packages extremely like interesting conversations with extremely interesting people. So those are my two shows. The first one
I love
positioning
it.
myself as like a business douchebag, and the second one positioning myself as like a comedian that like wants to like comedian journalist, right? That's one show is comedian journalist. The other one is business coach, guru, douchebag guy like Gary Vaynerchuk, but hopefully way better because I fucking hate Gary Vaynerchuk. I love him, Gary. Let me interview you. I think it'd be really fun. Anyway, cool. Now I've been yapping for a bunch. You yap some more. What's your plan for your life? In 5 years, when I talk to you again in 2030, when we do another podcast, Bridget, what's that podcast going to be about? Is it going to be about how now I'm Bridget, the world traveler, and I also knit?
No, I'll never knit. Mark my fucking words. You'll never
Okay.
catch me knitting. Um, I don't know. It is I feel that I'm in a very good place right now, but not like a place I want to be forever. I very much enjoy my job. Like I feel like I'm doing meaningful work, but this is the thing about doing work that helps people is it's exhausting and you don't make a lot of money. So,
Interesting.
and that's not like the most important thing at the end of the day, honestly, like 'cause I don't know. Like I love it, but like I got home from work last night at 10:30 p.m. because like we had someone who was admitting late to treatment, and I literally had like driven home. I got in at 8. I was gonna leave at 5:30. I was talking to some family on the phone, like ended up leaving late. Got back to my town that I was in or that I live in at like 6:15, got a call that actually we are going to have somebody admit late tonight, went back to work and then didn't get home until 10:30. And that happens like not often, but like there are certain days out of the week where I can be at work until 10 p.m., like doing, as an alcoholic who's never on time, like I get it. People don't call at 9 a.m. and say, I'll be punctually arriving to treatment with my bags packed at
Right.
10:42. Like it's just not how it
Because
works.
it's the hardest day of their lives.
It's
Like,
the worst day of their lives. And I
Yeah.
can't tell you, like I've chased there it's a big hill leading up to our campus. I've chased people up and down that hill, like just being like, listen, you don't have to come in if you don't want to, but we're in the
Yeah.
middle of the woods. Like
Sure. Yeah,
let's
there's
just
nowhere to
go.
go.
You're not gonna find anything out here, okay? Um,
Oh man.
so it's like when it's great, it's so great. Like there's a girl who just started working in our department, or a woman, I should say, who just started working in our department who like I did her first call basically. This is what I do at the treatment center is when people call and ask questions about it or need advice or like want to learn more about it, I talk to them. And normally it's like a family who calls first. It's normally not an alcoholic calling and being like, I've made the decision. I'm ready to get help. No one's pushing me to do this. It's just time. It's very, very rare that
Sure.
happens. And if it does, it's usually because some pushing happened behind the scenes, like with me. But so I talk to them, and then when they arrive, like I greet them, I talk to the family, I admit them. And I really do love doing that when it's like it can be so satisfying and wonderful. And then sometimes it's like somebody's just not ready to get sober. So like I've had situations where like I have chased someone up and down that hill for 4 hours, talked to their family, given them a tour, told them my story, asked them questions about themselves, felt like we were on like a good page, like and this is like it's like a dangerous thing, right? Like when someone doesn't admit to treatment, like you have to ask yourself, like, okay, what's gonna happen to them? And like we've had situations where someone's called and been like, okay, yeah, I'll think about it. And then the next day the family's like, well, they overdosed last night. So like that's just the reality of addiction. And so, or like, someone called and they're like, I was supposed to come in yesterday. I didn't want to. I got a DUI last night and now DCF is involved with my kids. Like this is all run of the mill. So I had like spent all this time with this person, and it was like like a girl who was in her early 20s, which always makes me get kind of like emotionally involved. And then she like left against medical advice maybe 3 hours after I went home. So it's just hard. Like it really does sometimes feel like you're giving a lot and there's no guarantee of the outcome. And that's just how it is with addiction. Like I tell parents when I talk to them, like the problem is like we can be the best place in the world and you guys can be the most loving parents. And like if somebody's not ready to get sober, it's just not going to happen.
Sure.
So that is difficult to imagine doing for a very long time.
Sure.
Um, so I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. Sometimes
Can
I'm
I
like,
ask you more questions about that?
yeah, of course you can.
So it
Actually, no,
sounds like
can I go blow my nose?
absolutely.
Wait, because I literally am about
Totally
to,
kind. Totally cool.
it's coming out of my nostrils. Hold on.
I love that you put the headphones in so I can still
I
hear
know,
you
I'm
in
taking
perfect
them out.
clarity.
I don't want you to hear me blow my nose.
I want to leave this in the edit.
What happened?
Uh-oh.
Did I just ruin it by taking my headphones off? Oh my God, the timer restarted. No, I'm so sorry.
It says 0% uploaded. Okay, so Bridget had to blow her nose, and I'm hoping that that didn't accidentally stop the recording, but that's okay. As I've done more coaching stuff, I
Hmm.
think you said something that I clocked as like what I believe to be a limiting belief, right? Or potentially one, if you agree with this idea. But you said the idea that like helping people, you don't make a lot of money when you're helping people, which I think it meant, you meant that in your specific situation. I think that is true for you at this moment, right? If like, I don't know, it's rewarding in other ways. Essentially, is what people do
Yeah,
that job
I
for.
guess I should say because like I certainly live exactly as I feel comfortable living. Like, could I buy a house? No, but that's fine. I don't want or need to at this moment in time. I just like I guess what I'm saying is like if I like there are other careers that like being a flight attendant, I actually would probably be making more than I make right now. And that's fine because I still because flight attendants actually do get paid pretty well if you stay with it long enough. But I I guess what I'm saying is I do just want to say I'm happy with how I get paid.
I'm
But
not trying to get you in trouble. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm saying though that like I think that you're a person that is probably very skilled at working with other people. And so I think that like I don't know, I hope that you find a way to move your career into a path where, you do still get to work with other people and help them along certain paths, but like, maybe that's not addiction recovery. Maybe that's something else in a
yeah,
few years, like I don't know, because like that's a very lucrative space. Like helping people is like a very people need help. This world's getting hard. We're doing authoritarianism. Donald Trump's the
yeah.
president.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Their ICE is going to be the new Gestapo. So like,
It's tough
we're going to need some
times.
help. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not great. It's bad stuff. I don't know. Cool. Anyway, Bridget, thank you so much for coming on and having this conversation. I hope the whole thing isn't lost to time, but we'll find out, I'm stoked. Any last plugs, anything that you can do you want to plug? Where can people follow you and consume things that you've made?
I do have a TikTok, okay?
Hell
I
yeah.
haven't posted on it in maybe a year. I'm
Cool.
thinking about doing it again, but I write
Nice.
music, and so the
Hell yeah.
music is on the TikTok. It's at troll under the Bridget, and you can find my original music there. Otherwise, don't follow me on Instagram. That's just for me.
I love that. Fantastic. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Noah Chrysler. Also, guys, the best way to help this show is to join the Patreon. You can get on the Patreon Wall of Fame right there over there just for $5 a month. That probably will go up as I figure out more of like what the Patreon's actually going to be. Also, I don't know. We're going to do a bunch of cool stuff on this channel. My coaching show is going to relaunch soon, so I'm stoked about that. And I don't know. What else is on the Patreon? I don't know. There's videos of me dancing, and then I give advice over there if you want advice from me. I don't know. The Patreon's kind of a mess. There's like a cool, fun music channel. It's kind of like behind the scenes of just like, hey, here's what I'm doing today, and a bunch of cool updates over there. I need to work on that pitch, huh? It genuinely, I do genuinely spend a lot of fucking time on that fucking Patreon. So go over there and check it out, and you can join for free too. So you can go and look at the free tier. The free tier is pretty cool. You get blog updates and shit. Cool. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Bridget, thank you so much for having this conversation with me.
Thanks for having me, Noel. It was lovely to see you again. Let's do it
It
in
was
five
wonderful.
years.
That sounds great. Yeah. Thank you for manipulating me with your charisma.
You're so welcome. Anytime.
And stop.